Today, the creation story, as found in Genesis chapters 1 through 2, Moses 2 through 3, and Abraham chapters 4 through 5.
Yeah, so as you just introduced, we're getting three lenses, three different angles on this creation story out of the scriptures. Our original Genesis account that the Bible opens with chapters 1 and 2, beginning with this story of the creation. And then we get the JST for Genesis over here in the Pearl of Great Price in Moses chapters 2 through 3. And then we get an additional account in Abraham 4 through 5. And Taylor, quite frankly, some people get frustrated with this because they say, but wait, there are some differences here compared to there and here. And this one has differences from there. How would you respond?
So I have shared my testimony innumerable times at testimony meeting. If we had recorded every single time I had given my testimony, you would find discrepancies or things that were different. And it's always a matter of emphasis. Who am I talking to? What currently is on my mind at that moment? What am I hoping for my audience to experience? And we live in this post-scientific revolution world where we want everything to line up. But when God originally revealed the creation stories, he did so for very different purposes than what scientists today might want. We want to have every single word line up, and God's like, actually, the purpose, the original purpose for laying this out, one of the main reasons was to teach people who God is and who we are, and not to answer these scientific questions.
Yeah. This is, if you're looking to Genesis chapters 1 and 2, or Moses 2 and 3, or Abraham 4 to 5, looking for exact scientific blueprints for how the creation took place, you're going to spend a lot of time spinning wheels and going nowhere. Because these accounts aren't really trying to answer the how. They're trying to answer predominantly, and you might read this differently, but from my perspective, they're answering two questions, largely. Who? Who is God? Who are we? How does that relationship fit? And why? Why did he create the earth for us? Why do we even exist? Why are we here? If you're just looking for those two things, this is a great adventure. And then with modern revelation, we get a fourth view that we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about in this particular episode, but modern temple worship involves a great deal of creation elements and telling the creation story. And there are some fairly significant differences in some of the order of the events. And it's beautiful to have this four-dimensional view of the creation. So
another way to look at this is imagine theater, where you go to see a story unfold. And the creation story is like the stage and the props, because the Bible was revealed so God could lay out his plan of salvation. And you have to set the stage for where that narrative or that play or where that story will occur. And so I'm not trying to diminish the creation story, but in some ways it's the props that set up the stage. And if you showed up to theater and you spent all your time fixating on the props or debating the placement of the props, you're like, the last time I saw this play, that tree was over here, we actually missed the whole point of the play or the show, which is God's salvation of his people. That's what he's trying to do. And it's significant that if you look at the totality of the Old Testament, how little time God actually spends on the creation story. It's a significant element, but he could have spent thousands of pages just on the creation story. But instead, he wants to set the stage so we can understand who he is, who we are, and why this earth was created to assist in our salvation. So we hope that perspective can help you as you consider these different accounts that give us different perspectives, basically different angles in that theater of looking at the same stage, but seeing it from a different perspective of what is God trying to do in this story of salvation, and what's my role in it? And actually, one more final thought. If you think about the temple, two of the key characters that shows up in the creation story are Adam and Eve. And we are invited to imagine ourselves in the plan of salvation as an Adam or as an Eve. And this way, it's a bit more participatory and interactive. And so instead of us just being passive and just watching the plan of salvation working out, God is asking us, almost as audience members, to come up on stage, and we get to be part of this grand play of salvation.